Hello? Oh my god, I've been talking this entire time and none of it was being picked up at all. No way. I can't believe it. Okay, that's why you said stream was frozen. God. Oh my god. I've been talking this whole time and there was no audio? Damn. Okay, well that sucks. Sorry. Wow. I have to start from the top. By the way, if you want to join me on like Discord or something in a call, like right now, I'm down. I'm down to just like chat with you while I go through this stuff while I'm streaming. Just give me a call. Okay, sweet. We got a guest. Okay, I'm gonna plug in my earbuds then. Alright. Dang it. The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry.
Hey, can you hear it?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Holy cow. You're a bit loud. I had to turn you down.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. Yeah. Been a long time since we've spoken.
Uh, yeah, actually, I don't remember the last time I spoke to you in person or like over like Zoom or anything like that.
We've never
Weird.
spoken over Zoom.
I just saw your. I was like doing some errands in my room, like just cleaning some stuff up. Then I was just looking to put something on as like background noise, and I
Oh, okay.
saw you were streaming on YouTube, so I was like, oh, might as well pop in and say hi.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for dropping by. Uh, yeah, I'm streaming. I wanted to stream like some life updates and talk about my new project. Except apparently, everything that I've said so far didn't go through the microphone because I apparently hadn't. Yeah, I hadn't set that to go through OBS. So yeah, thanks. Thanks for dropping by because you saved the stream. Because otherwise I wouldn't have known.
Problem.
I would have just streamed this entire time with zero audio. It would have been awful.
Man, that would have sucked. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. I'm gonna add
I guess you can.
timestamps, I guess, after the VOD goes up. Because otherwise people are gonna be wondering when they look at the VOD, like, where's the audio? Like, what's going on?
Or you could just cut out I guess, the beginning of it. I don't know how you're
Ah.
doing this.
I don't know if there's a way to do that on YouTube. Like when you stream, when it uploads
Oh.
the VOD to the channel, like I can like delete the VOD, download it, and then like re-upload it like shortened. But then, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
That's I don't know if there are any like good tools for doing that sort of thing on YouTube. Kind of
Okay.
sucks. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna start from the top and talk about my life updates again, since apparently none of that went through. So, yeah, I've been like really busy lately. I haven't been able to stream in like the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's because I've gotten like my COVID shot. Well, like my first one. Um, like the rollout in Canada seems to be pretty slow, so that's why I only have one right now. I think you wait, do you have both of yours or? Hello? Oh no. Did I lose you? Ah.
And,
Hello? Did
oh,
my...
hello?
Hello? Oh no.
Hello?
I can hear you. And you... Oh, okay. Okay. That was weird. Have you gotten your COVID shots yet?
Okay. Yeah, so I got my first one a little while ago, and I just got booked for my second one, which is around July 4th, I think. Uh, and so yeah, I should be getting fully vaccinated pretty soon. The rollout's going pretty quick here in Ontario.
Oh wow.
Um, but
Yeah.
it's also Ontario, so we get probably like first access to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's slow here in Vancouver. I still don't know when mine will be my second one. So full vaccination probably in like a month. I'd guess.
Okay, that's not too bad.
What else? I actually got my blood works done. Got like an EKG done as well. Just doing some blood testing. So that happened.
Is it just like some like just a checkup type of thing, or is there like?
I had a pretty bad reaction to the first COVID shot, and my mom was kind of worried.
Oh.
So, yeah. Apparently, it's kind of rare, but like in young male adults, it can cause like a little bit of like carditis, and it seems like I got a little bit of that, but I've mostly recovered from it now, so it seems like I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's extremely mild though. Haircut, that's self-explanatory. Meetup. Yeah, we had a Rust meetup on the 16th of this month, so just not that many days ago. Just on Wednesday last week. Went pretty well.
You're the one running. You're like the one who is like organizing the meetups, right?
Yeah, I'm running the Rust meetups in Vancouver.
Nice.
Yeah, we had like 50 RSVPs, which is like a new record. It's actually kind of amazing. It was a lot of people.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, and aside from that, yeah, we usually get like a 50% turnout, and that's what we got this time. We got like 26 people who showed up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But people were asking me to edit, or not edit, but they were asking me to upload the VOD for that meetup. So I've done that now, but I did do a little bit of editing for that. So that kind of goes into my next point here, as I've been busy doing a ton of editing, just video editing, not only for the meetup stuff, but for work. Because I've been working on like a demo video for work. I've also been working on stuff for the channel, so I have a new video in the works right now. I am prepared to talk a little bit more about it in a sec, but that's where I'm at right now. I also went fishing, so this is, I guess, more of a recreational thing. Yeah. So a friend of mine, the one I normally stream with, Adam, he's here in Vancouver, and he likes to go fishing quite a lot, and so he invited me on a fishing trip, and I was just like, I'm not really an outdoors kind of person. I don't really go out into the woods much, but if you really,
that's why I was surprised.
Yeah, I know, right?
When you went fishing.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to go fishing, but he convinced me to go fishing. Cause, he's like, yeah, well, we'll set up like lawn chairs, and I'll bring like all the supplies and stuff, and I'll like help you out getting like your fishing license or whatever. So yeah, he basically helped me get set up, brought all the material, like the bait, the fishing rods and stuff like that, and that's basically it. That's basically why I ended up going fishing, and it was actually pretty good. It was nice and relaxing being out in the woods and like absorbing nature. It's not something I do very often, especially now during COVID. But I caught a couple of fish. I did actually catch a couple of fish, and they were rainbow trout. So that was pretty cool. The only reason why I know about rainbow trout is because of Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, yeah.
But yeah, it was it was really different from what I expected because when you're fishing, right? When you catch the fish, and you're like, you're planning on like eating fish, right? It's kind of different from like releasing the fish. Because you gotta make sure that you actually kill the fish. When the fish comes out of the water, it doesn't die immediately. Like it's just not able to like breathe, I guess. So you actually have to kill them in a humane way. And the humane way to kill the fish once you've caught it is to smack it over the head with a piece of wood.
Oh, really?
It's kind of brutal. Those
I thought it would be like cutting the neck or something.
no, it isn't. Like we smacked this fish on the head, or like these fish on the head with like a stick until it died, and there was like blood splashing out of it too. And it was kind of gory. So I was like, holy crap, this is so not like Animal Crossing.
As long as you ate the fish, then I think it's all good.
Yeah, we ate
But
the
it's
fish.
weird.
It was pretty good. Like the fish was actually pretty good. I'm kind of surprised. It wasn't too fishy for like a freshwater fish. Apparently, a lot of freshwater fish taste very fishy, but the rainbow trout, it wasn't too fishy. So it was really good. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Saturday of this weekend, I was just watching Twitch streams and stuff. Wasn't really doing much. I was kind of chilling. But I'm back into things today, and that's why I'm streaming.
Any specific Twitch streams you're watching?
Twitch streams that I've been watching, specific ones. I like to watch Simple Flips.
What's that?
He's a Super Mario 64 ROM hack streamer.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, he also does like Mario Maker 2 content and stuff, and I really like watching his stuff. It's really funny. It's not for children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he does like swear and stuff, but I don't know, his community is fairly wholesome and like otherwise. And the content is entertaining. It's funny. That's kind of like what I like to do in my spare time if I'm not doing like research and stuff like that. Because otherwise I'd just be like reading and stuff. But I don't know. There was just like so much stuff that happened over the last like several weeks that I was just kind of like, I think I need to just unwind for a little bit. So I took Saturday off. And today I am now streaming and working on projects again. Future plans. I've got Idris 2 video on the way, so that's the video I've been working on editing.
Idris the library for Rust to develop games, or
No. Idris is actually a different programming language entirely. It's a
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a purely functional, dependently typed programming language. I've done a couple of streams, I think, or like one stream on Idris, talking about like
Was
multiplicities.
that the tic-tac? Okay, was that the tic-tac-toe one?
No, that's the rock
I
paper
think
scissors one. That's in Haskell.
Rock. Sorry. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the one I was for.
So it's funny you should mention tic tac toe because I actually am working on I'm not even working on it. I actually did create a Idris 2 implementation of tic tac toe recently as like a Nix project. So I have been looking into the Nix package manager recently as well. I know a lot of people have been hyped about Nix lately in the functional programming community, like especially like Haskellers. Some Rust people have been using it quite a bit as well, and yeah, what it's basically made for is like super reproducible build environments and like development environments. So that's that's kind of interesting to me. Definitely useful for like DevOpsy stuff. Obviously, there's also Docker, which sort of helps in and around that same sort of area, but it seems like it serves a slightly different use case because obviously like Docker, you can kind of like throw away your environment and stuff like that, or like you're forced to throw away your environment, right? Unless you're using like bind mounts and stuff. Whereas in Nix, it's different. Like you can spin up a Docker container using Nix, and then you can have like ephemeral environments that way. It's it's a bit different. I don't want to get too into Nix right now because I've just been learning Nix myself. I'm a beginner, but it is something I've been interested in, and something I've spent a bit of time learning somewhat recently as part of like my learning goals. But yeah, Idris 2 video on the way. I'm actually really excited about this one because it's I ran into an issue, like a compiler error that I didn't really understand at first, and I think it's really not obvious at all what that error means and how you would resolve it. So yeah, I think it'd be really cool and helpful to have a video just explaining what that error is, why it exists, and like how you'd resolve it. So that's on the way. I'm gonna be editing it, probably using the style that my Q&A uses, so something a little bit more fancy than like my streams or previous videos. So definitely looking forward to getting that out. Next on my list is more Rust projects. So obviously you see I'm working on one right now with this Kirby and the Amazing Mirror randomizer. So I'll be talking a bit more about that as we get into the stream. The other Rust project I'm working on is for collecting analytics on my meetups, because right now that's kind of being done manually, but I don't really have any way of like visualizing what's going on. And meetups tools seem to be pretty limited. I don't know if there's like an easy way to do that, but I wanted to do a quick and dirty solution in Rust just to have something to present for a future Rust meetup maybe. So yeah, one of the things that stops me from making these streams more often is the fact that I have to prepare for meetups and stuff. So if people are interested in coming to the Rust meetups and presenting stuff, like that'd be very helpful.
Do you advertise your streams at the Rust meetups, or?
No, I don't advertise my streams. I just don't advertise my streams at all. I've tried advertising my YouTube stuff before, like at work, and yeah. What kind of ended up happening was, I don't know, I ended up deciding that I wanted to keep my work stuff separate from my life stuff, and yeah, it kind of led to like the creation of like a video club, and then that kind of like died, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the motivation to record videos when it feels more like work kind of thing. If I'm just
That's
kind of
fair.
running my own channel, doing the stuff that I enjoy, and the content I can kind of tailor it to my own interests, right? Like if I'm doing videos for work, I don't necessarily have the luxury of just recording whatever I want. Like I can't do randomizers. I can't do functional programming. I certainly can't do like more researchy languages like Idris. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If I could do YouTube full time, maybe it'd be a different story. But no, that's not really in the cards right now. Speaking of which, if this project goes well with the Kirby and the Amazing Mirror randomizer, I may start doing Twitch streams. So Twitch streams actually playing the randomizer. So I'd like to keep this channel for programming projects. I feel like YouTube is just where I want to keep all my programming stuff. But when it comes to like gaming, if I want to do gaming content, like Twitch seems just like the better platform for that. So I kind of want to give that a try if I can finish this project in a reasonable amount of time. So when this project is done, maybe Twitch streams. That's another big plan.
Nice.
So aside from the Rust projects, I've got cleanup for my blog. It's scheduled. I've penned it into my calendar. I don't know when that's actually going to happen, because I know when it's going to happen. I just don't know if it's going to be done in like the hour I've allotted, and I might have to schedule some more time next week. But I do want to clean up my blog. If you don't know, I switched from Jekyll to Hackle due to like a security issue in Jekyll that required like a bunch of updates and stuff, and it was a huge pain in the butt. I didn't like it, and decided, Hackle is written in Haskell. I love functional programming. It's what I do. So I decided to reject Ruby, return to functional programming, and yeah, moved to Hackle.
You you use I'm assuming you use Rust at work.
I don't actually use Rust at work. That's a good question. I get this question a lot, and no, I don't currently use Rust at work. I do some consulting related to Rust at work. Like there is a team at work that uses Rust, but I personally don't. I'm actually on a Scala project right now.
Okay, cool.
Um, yeah, so blog cleanup is on the way because I migrated to Hackle. My blog looks really ugly now, but it can look pretty, and I want it to look pretty. So that's in my future plans. And
Gotcha.
last item on my list is Haskell streaming with Adam because that's kind of what I've been doing all along, and I just want to get back to that again. So next weekend, hopefully, I'll be able to get a hold of Adam and we'll continue on our Haskell adventure and see how that goes. Because
So
he's kind of a pivotal part of those streams. But when I want to do just like Rust or like Idris stuff, I just kind of tend to stream on my own. Or in this case, I have you here today, so that's nice. All right, I can put my tablet away, and now we can finally dig into the actual project for today. So yeah, today we're working on a randomizer. It's the Kirby and the Amazing Mirror randomizer. I've blogged about this quite a bit in the past. If you've been following my blog, you probably are aware that I did a whole bunch of stuff on like randomizers. I made this randomizer engine. I talked about that even, and that was all written in Rust. Oh dear, what did I do? I created a project in the wrong place. I just realized I actually have a new repo that I created for the current project. Let me go do that. Yeah, so the story behind this is that I didn't make a full randomizer before because, you know, it's kind of an illegal gray area, right? ROM hacking and all that. I was always kind of afraid I'd get in legal trouble making an actual like full-on randomizer. But I did a bit of research because I know that A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time, uh, those games have randomizers and they seem to be quite popular and apparently they're legal. So I looked into it and yeah, you can actually distribute things like patches, for example. As long as you don't have like the ROM, it's totally fine. Like an IPS patch or like a BPS patch is just like a binary file, right? You can just distribute binary files like arbitrary binary files legally, and it's up to the person with the ROM to actually go download a ROM patcher and take that patch file and apply it to their ROM. So yeah, that's a way to just do ROM hacking without actually getting a hold of any ROMs or doing anything illegal. And
I think that applies a lot to like Pokemon ROMs. At least I believe that's the same concept. It's where you have a patch and you have to apply it to the actual ROM
mm-hmm.
that's based off.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
exactly
like,
it. So that's what I want to do with this amazing mirror randomizer, or at least something similar. There are web apps obviously for this, like the Link to the Past one. I think Pokemon has one too. I don't actually know.
oh, okay.
Ocarina of Time has one as well, where you can just upload a ROM to the web app, and then it applies a patch, and then it just sends you back the patched ROM. So the web app itself doesn't actually have the ROM. It just you actually have to explicitly supply it with the ROM, and then you get it you get the modified one back. So that's yeah, that's how most randomizers work. I'm thinking we can
So
do
what did
something. Yeah.
sorry, what did the 'cause I don't think I'm up to date on your blog, but like what do the randomizers do to the game? Because you mentioned like a Link to the Past randomizer. What does that
Oh,
mean?
yes, excellent question. Right, because not everybody's familiar with randomizers. Oh, I love these things. So what randomizers do is they, for example, for A Link to the Past, what you can do is you can randomize like the where the enemies spawn, so different enemies spawn in different places. You can randomize the entrances, so like the loading zones. So if you enter a cave, it might go to a completely different cave, or it might go into a house or something instead. You can randomize items. Item randomizers are the best. Item randomizers are absolutely amazing, because that changes where the items are in the game, and that doesn't sound super exciting, but it actually has some pretty cool consequences. Like, if the fire rod isn't where it normally is, or like if the hook shot isn't where it normally is, then there's certain parts of the game that are locked out to you until you get those items. So different items that you pick up early in the game, like if you pick up like the hook shot as like your first item, that might open up certain hook shot locked areas first, and then you have to go there instead of like to the first dungeon to go and find your next progression item, right? Like usually the game is going to be beatable, or at least it should be beatable in a well-designed randomizer. Every seed should be beatable.
Gotcha.
So there's like a logic to it, and you have to try and figure out the logic and figure out where the game wants you to go to get your next progression item, that sort of thing. And another really important part of this is if you're racing against other people on the same seed. Another big and important aspect of this is, routing. Sometimes you get like the magic mirror, which lets you jump between like the go from like the dark world to the light world, and so maybe like early in the game you will like head south from like Link's house, and you'll pass by a bunch of locations, and you'll pick up a few items along the way, but there's a bunch of locations in the dark world that you would be passing up. But if you go by there with like the magic mirror, you can actually group those checks together. Like it's sort of like data locality, right? All your data is close together, so you can kind of like hit it all up in a row really quickly, rather than having to come back later and make like a second pass over that area. It's a lot faster if you know how to group your checks together and get that kind of locality. So there's a bit of clever routing involved, and of course there's also the aspect of gambling too, right? Like you might go to a certain location and find there's no items in that dungeon. You wasted your time. You should have gone to the other dungeon instead, kind of thing. And so you can kind of get hints as to like which places you need to go to based on the items that you have, and like which places are you can route in a little bit more easily. So like there's a whole tournament scene around randomizers and just doing these like randomizer races. It's actually really cool. It's really fun. I recommend checking it out if you're interested. But that's kind of what got me into this, is just watching other people do randomizer races and just like seeing how people route, how they think. Execution is a big part of it still as well. Like a lot of glitches in games like that speedrunners use. You don't normally see them in the speedrun, but in a randomizer you're going to all sorts of different places of the game in different order, and so you see a lot more glitches that you wouldn't normally see in like a standard speedrun of the game or a casual playthrough, and it definitely leads to some pretty interesting scenarios.
That's cool.
So anyway, that's enough about randomizers.
So I guess your goal for today is you want to get started for Kirby and the Amazing Mirror randomizer.
Yes.
Have you built a randomizer before, or?
Not exactly. So I've played around with Kirby and the Amazing Mirror a lot. That is like the one game that I'm actually familiar with, and I don't have everything on this Windows account right now. So I can't show you all the details. I will eventually for like later streams of this. This is just kind of getting the project started, but yeah, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is a game that I have done randomization for in the past. I do know how it works, and it's not a game that has item randomization. Sadly, there's no progression. Like Kirby doesn't pick up items like a hook shot or a fire rod or a hammer, and that doesn't unlock new locations. Kirby, has these abilities. They're kind of ephemeral, right? You kind of like pick up an ability from an enemy in one room, and then you get hit by an enemy, you lose that ability, you pick up a different one. Like you can only hold one ability at a time, so there's not really too much interesting stuff you can do with that with that system. But Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is kind of exceptional as far as Kirby games go. in that it has like a ton of different entrances. It's sort of like a big sprawling maze, almost like a Metroidvania style game. It's very free in like exploration, and there's like a bunch of doors that you can go into. Let me bring up like a, I don't know, like Moonlight Mansion map. Like this. Like this is an example of what it looks like. Let me see if I can load this thing here. What the heck? Okay. Here's a complete map of an area. So you have like these little like room transitions and boundaries and stuff like that, and they're like one ways, they're like two-way doors and stuff like that, and these are all like different rooms, right? So it's like a big sprawling maze. There's different areas you can go to. Very exploration heavy game, unlike most Kirby games, right? So the one thing that you can really randomize meaningfully here is the entrances, and that's kind of what I have with my randomizer engine that I wrote. I have like, oh wait, this is the same project. I'm dumb. Why did I do that? But the randomizer engine is built for entrance randomization, because Kirby doesn't have any kind of like item rando. And I could do an enemizer or an enemy randomizer. I don't know how that would work yet. But yeah, that's under like future work. You could do that as like a different game mode.
Gotcha.
So basically this is kind of the functional spec that I've written up rather hastily for this project. I've got some basic assumptions here, like the project will be written in Rust. I am working on a web application. Future work might be to create a desktop version, because other randomizers do have a desktop version that you can like download and, you know, do the patching yourself. I don't want to get into that right now, because I think the web app is just the better user experience off the bat, because you don't have to download anything. Don't have to do any patching yourself. So requirements. Right now I wanted to make this an entrance randomizer, like I said, because that's the only thing that really makes sense. There is some actual complex logic in here because of Kirby's abilities. Like some rooms require you to get like the cutter ability to like cut a platform down to enter a certain door, or like the fire ability or like the hammer ability. So there is stuff like that in the game, and there are also some additional requirements to get into certain doors in a randomizer setting, because you might enter a room from the wrong side. Because normally in the game, like, you don't enter certain rooms from a certain door, but in the randomizer you might end up being stuck with that being that other door on the other side being the only way into that room. So that imposes some additional restrictions as well. So there are actually some places in the game where you might even be required to use like really rare abilities, like the UFO ability. It's actually kind of neat because those abilities don't generally have any like strong requirements in any places in the game. Every game should be beatable. That should go without saying. A bad randomizer allows you to get stuck or like soft locked and not be able to beat the game. Maybe like two parts of the map are completely disjoint from where you from the parts of the map that you are able to explore, and that's bad. We don't want that to happen, because that's just a very frustrating experience and it's not fun. I want the ability to specify the seed, so this way you can actually share seeds with other people, right? If you find a seed that you really like you're like, oh, this one was really cool, I like how the level was structured here. You can like share that with someone else and they can also play it. I don't really know like the specific details about this and how this is going to play in with like game modes. Like if I had like a one-hit kill mode where you like die in one hit, I don't know if that will be part of the seed generation. Probably not. It'll probably just be like a separate option. But we'll see. This is kind of a more high-level thing that I threw in, was I wanted this to be very testable. So last time I worked on the Rando engine, I didn't really... I wasn't really thinking about like abstraction boundaries and stuff like that, and like where should they be. Actually, I don't have a great example right now, but like it wasn't like super testable. Like not everything could be unit tested. I kind of want to change that here and make make more things unit testable at least, even if it's not like absolutely everything. I think that would be fairly reasonable to try and aim for that. I want this to be a bit more debuggable. The first time I worked on the Rando engine, I had some pretty big issues trying to figure out like why things are going wrong, like why isn't this beatable, or what's happening with some of the entrances, why are they not connecting. So yeah, more logging would be very helpful. I'll probably look into like logging frameworks. And spoiler logs are another part of debuggability, I think. But this is, I think this is more for like the end user. If you're actually someone who's actually playing a seed and you get stuck and you don't know where to go, it's nice to be able to have like a spoiler log that you can look at. It's just like a text file that tells you where all the entrances have been moved around to, so that you can unstick yourself, or like more sophisticated randomizers might actually generate like a path that you actually have to take to beat the game, so that there's like actual proof that this thing is beatable. Or if that path is generated incorrectly, then they can like post that in like a bug log and say like, hey, the spoiler log has a path that it thinks that it can use to beat the game, but actually you can't beat the game for reason X, Y, or Z. And then I can look at that and be like, oh, I see what the problem is, right? Like, that just really helps for end users to, get themselves unstuck. It also helps me debug my randomizer, and everyone will be a lot happier. So that's that. I've got architecture and design stuff here. When I'm gonna move this to like a Google Doc probably at some point, and we'll have like a diagram posted here. That's something I wanted to work on today. Yeah, I was gonna talk a little bit about like tools I was gonna use for this as well, like SERD JSON. That's a Rust library for serialization and deserialization of JSON structures. I may have multiple files for entrances, one that actually has like the entrance data, and then a different file that actually has like the graph structure, right? If I want to make my randomizer agnostic of the actual game itself, right? Or if I want to adjust the structure later on due to how certain doors work or different user settings, right? Like I could say every door, like the two-way doors don't lead back to themselves. Like if you go enter a two-way door, it's treated as like a one-way door, and then you can have like insane randomizer options like that. So that could be really fun. So I'll just say plural files. And the last section that I have here in this sort of functional spec thing, not super duper formal functional spec, is future work. So like I said, I want to try adding a desktop version, maybe have like a daily challenge, so like a daily seed. They do this in a lot of roguelike games, I think, like Crypto the Necrodancer and whatnot. They have like a daily challenge. Spelunky. Yeah, and just more game modes. This Milky Way Wishes mode is a particularly interesting one to me because if you've ever played Kirby Superstar, there's a game, like a little sub-game in that called Milky Way Wishes. And what that game does is every time you pick up an ability, you get to keep it permanently in like an inventory. And so that starts opening up the possibility for an item randomizer. And so if I could add that functionality into this game, then we could actually see some pretty interesting randomization there with an actual like logic and stuff, which would be really, really cool. I would absolutely love to be able to do something like that, but that requires some more like advanced knowledge of how the ROM works and how to actually like hack that thing in. So that's all that I have here. I'll save this later. For now, let's just get started. I already have that. Let's call this like main board. use this template, the basic Kanban template. My throat is dying because I've been talking so long, even though my audio wasn't working for like the first half of this.
You're essentially duplicating everything you've done.
I know, it sucks. I really hate that. I should have checked my OBS audio settings first before I started streaming. That was kind of dumb. Yeah, there we go. Now now we can get started. So it's just okay. I don't. Oh, wait, actually, let me read this really quickly. Keyword. I don't care about that. New column. Drag and drop this card to the new column. No, come on. Search for and add issues and PRs to your project. Automation on columns. Archive a card. I don't think I really need this. I'll just archive this. Okay, I'm gonna delete that because I don't think I need that. Yeah, I'll just delete that too. Alright, fresh board. So, things I want to really do. Probably add some spikes first. Actually, let's just do like the architecture design diagram. A lot of tasks for that. Oh, so plan for what I'm doing here. Track issues on GitHub. Use this Kanban board to track what I'm doing. This is fairly experimental. I've never used GitHub for like issue tracking and stuff. Mostly used Jira. I also kind of wanted to try, tracking like velocity and stuff like that, so I can get an idea for like when I'll be done. So yeah, this is an experiment in software timelining as well. So we'll be doing estimates and story points on these issues as well. What else? What else? Architecture and design. Prototype. Let's do a prototype. I want to add. Can I edit this? Oh, there's no descriptions. This is not like Trello. So Trello lets you add like a description to these, but I can't do that for these notes. So I guess I'll just do something.
I think you have to convert it to an issue. You want like a very detailed.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Although that might. If you try saving that, does that? Okay, that's just the title.
Yeah, it's just the title. Let's say small web app. Oh, actually, let me add to my spec here. We're gonna use the Rocket web framework. This recently got a release, or like a release candidate in, actually like, yeah, just like maybe last week or the week before, that allows you to use stable Rust with it, which is nice. And I really wanted to give this a try. I think it'd be a good idea. Why the heck did it close that? Okay, that's terrible. Oops, what am I saying? Something's criteria.
Off to a great start.
I know, right? I've never actually used GitHub for issue tracking before, so this is new to me. I'm doing this partly because it's exploratory work for what I'm doing at work as well. We're trying to like migrate stuff from Jira to GitHub. So, yeah, this is I'm learning things not just for myself but for work, which is also for myself, I guess. Yeah, we're gonna use the Rocket web framework. Create small Rocket application that allows uploading files and downloading files. think that makes sense for the prototyping, because that's like the one part that I don't understand. The rest of it I already know how to do, but the one thing that I don't is how to write a small web app that just lets you do something really simple like upload a ROM file and then download the file after it gets randomized. So uploading files, processing the files, and then downloading the files. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I will do that for now. Actually, this is... I want to do, like, story pointing, right? I don't really know how that's gonna work. Okay, I guess I'll just create an issue for now. See what that does. Okay, cool. Convert this to an issue. Create diagram detailing, I guess, abstraction boundaries of application. Is there anything else I want to add about this diagram? I guess I should like show all components. Of the randomizer. So that would be like the actual randomizer itself. I guess the presentation layer. I don't know if we're gonna have a persistence layer, honestly. I've thought a little bit about this. I don't think we will. I mean, I could do caching of like IPS or like BPS patches. So if someone else generates the same seed, it can just fetch it from a database. So that's a potential like maybe work. I'll put that in like future work. Seed caching.
That sounds more like a nice to have.
Yeah, I that's kind of my thinking right now as well. I think it's a nice to have. We'll start our diagram like this. We'll have the randomizer, we'll have the presentation layer, I guess JSON part or JSON/config parsing layer, I guess. Yeah. I think that's good for now. And I want to check out how that looks in the issues. Yeah, that's literally all it says. There's literally nothing else here. Wow.
Yeah, you have to go into the actual ones, and then if you edit or to the side, you can add more details, I think. Like sign, labels. I don't know if you can do story points on GitHub.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't, from what I remember from discussions at work, but I just really needed to see it for myself. So yeah, I guess there isn't really a way to do that. I can add story points, I guess. I don't know if I want to use labels or not. I haven't really thought about using labels or how I want to use labels or even like milestones. That's kind of my goal right now is kind of to measure my velocity this week, see how much I can get done, and from there, start creating sprints based on that velocity. So I guess I'm already starting with a sort of like informal sprint. But yeah, I just want to. This is kind of where I want to start things. So this, I think so. This will be maybe like one or two story points, I guess, is what I'll go for. So what am I using for story points right now? Usually
I would
we.
say this is like a 2.
Sorry.
I would say this is about a 2, at least in terms of how we use story points.
How do you use story points?
I guess typically based on the average of our work, but like a 1 is like something super trivial. It's like something like copy fix or something almost like instantaneous. You could get it done right now.
Yeah.
2 to 3, I think most small tasks for us would fall under a 3. Anything. So we use the Fibonacci sequence. I think that's.
Yo.
I don't know if that's the.
That's what we do too.
I don't know if that's the. It's like so it's 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, and then 13.
Yeah.
And typically, like small tasks would be about a 3, and then medium-sized tasks to fall around the 5 story point range. This is just based on our experience and on our velocity. And then large projects or large tasks are 8 or 13. And we try to break those down. That's typically how I see it. So something like this, based on the criteria, if you're just creating a diagram, diagram should show all major components, etc. Yeah, I would put this at like between a 2 and a 3.
Cool. That's actually how we do story pointing on my project as well. Like we use Fibonacci numbers, and we're roughly the same scale. I'd say like for us, like 3 is like a medium task, and 5 is like a large one. So we don't tend to go beyond 5. Like the highest we've ever gone is 8. But
okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I think your like 2/3 are like 2. But that's interesting. Like other teams I know, they use like t-shirts, like t-shirt sizes, like small, medium,
Small,
large.
extra. God.
Yeah, extra large, extra large, that kind of thing. But I'm used to Fibonacci numbers.
Do you guys use a tool called Planet Poker in terms of like if
Yeah, we do use planning poker. We use like we have a Slack bot for doing planning poker.
Oh, is that like a add-on to Slack?
Yeah, it is. We've used like
Okay.
we have like several different like Slack bots. We have one like for like we have one called Donut as well that does like it arranges like meetings for people in case.
I think we've used that for a bit.
Just to like have people talking a bit more during the pandemic. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave that at 2 story points. I think that makes sense. Oh, yep, I know. Let's estimate the prototype.
I wonder if you could use something like GitHub Actions to cycle through all your issues to after parse the text, and you can like an estimate of like your story points.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never never seen anything like that before. So if that's doable, then yeah, maybe that's something worth looking into. I think for now I'm just gonna do it manually until I feel like a need, or I don't know if you have like any like links or like resources on how to do that really easily, then maybe I'll take a peek. But I think for now this is what I wanna. This is kind of how I want to do things. So creating a rocket application. I've done this before. I've created like a small rocket application. I don't really know what goes into like uploading files and then downloading files. Like, I know this is obviously doable because other people have written rocket applications that can do this kind of stuff, but I don't know how to do that myself. So there are some potential unknowns here. I'm going to lean on the side of caution and say this is probably around 3 story points. I don't know what your thoughts are though.
Yeah, so like, because our spread of story points is probably a lot bigger because then we go up to 13.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. It depends. Like our sprints, or I guess my second question is, when you guys do sprints, is it a weekly or like
We actually do
a
2 week
bi-weekly?
sprints. We do them
So that
bi-weekly now.
yeah, so that probably affects like our perspective in terms of story points because ours is a weekly sprint.
Yeah.
So if we're sizing things based on, oh, can we get this entire thing done in a week?
Hmm.
I might put this like between a 5 or 8, right? Like that's how kind of like
Ah.
I get affected. But like let's see, create a small rocket application that allows uploading files, processing the files, and then downloading the files. So I guess the only thing I'm unsure of is these patch files
Hmm.
uh, allows uploading process. So what are the users uploading? Is it like
They're uploading their ROM. It's just how that's just how most randomizers work. The user provides the ROM, you randomize it, you give it back.
oh, okay. So this is like the actual physical game. Okay, the ROM of the game.
Hmm.
Okay, gotcha. And then so the user uploads the ROM, just convert it's essentially converting the bytes or whatever down, then you process it, and then you download the file.
Hmm.
I would probably like based on if this is like a weekly sprint for us, I would probably put that like around a 5 maybe or an 8. I don't know.
5.
Just like
Okay.
based on like group like the team's experience, how familiar.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, like if I look at this and I'm saying, can I get this done within the week or something like that? I would say I would be hesitant because I would say because first of all I go get up the entire app working. Uh, hey, this is a personal project,
That's
so it's
true.
not like you're worried about production quality level stuff. But
It is just a
uh,
prototype as well.
oh, okay, yeah. If this is just like something you can run locally, if that's the goal,
Hmm.
uh, not like post like requirements of having this like deployed right now, then yeah, I'm fine with like a 3 makes sense to me.
A 3. All right. Sounds cool. I'm just kind of curious to hear what your perspective on stuff is because obviously you've worked on very different projects. You probably worked with different sprint lengths and stuff like that, and yeah, and
Yeah,
different
like
measures. So.
another thing I would also do is like I also compare to other items we size. So like if you were to compare this to the other issue you just sized,
Hmm.
like the only thing I would say is this seems like a lot more work than the other
Yeah,
issue, right?
yeah, I definitely think
So
so.
that's just one sec. I need to take a phone call.
Sure, no problem. All right, I'm just gonna leave this at 3 story points. All right. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to add here? I think I'm gonna end stream somewhat soonish. I guess for now we can start working on like the diagram, because I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to commit to this week, beyond just like this prototype and this architecture diagram. So yeah, I'm just gonna start putting this in progress, and I think we should get started here, looking at that. So relatively small sprint in quotes. uh, but I think this is what I'm going to start with.
I'm back.
All right, sounds good. So I've literally just decided that since you know I don't think I'm going to be spending like a huge amount of time this week working on this project, I'm going to leave it at these 2 tasks for now, and create more issues as I go along. But I'm just going to get started on the diagram. So also I kind of want to end stream soon, maybe in like the next like 10 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
So let's see. I guess we can just like throw some rectangles. So I kind of want to have the randomizer be its own sort of module. So I'll have something like this here. I wonder if there's a way to like show what it contains, or like, I don't know, maybe each of these rectangles will be like a module. Oh yeah, there's another thing I want to use. I want to use pet graph. Pet graph is nice because it's a graph library for Rust. I think we'll have some kind of like graph interface here. Not sure how I want to represent that. Maybe we can use like a rounded square for that. But yeah, this library is nice because it gives you certain algorithms for free. Like, if you want to find like connected components of a graph, you can do that very easily with PetGraph. They have an algorithm that you can run for that. That algorithm is actually very useful because it lets you determine whether or not the game is beatable, and you don't have to think too hard about that. So I definitely want that functionality. So we're gonna have some kind of like graph interface. I think I want the randomizer to use that in some way. So I guess I'll use like a directional connector here for now. We also want like some sort of presentation layer, right? So I'll have to think about that. The way that the rocket application works is it exposes like a bunch of like routes. You expose like yeah, like a route endpoint, a bunch of endpoints. I guess this will be pretty pretty restful for the most part. Right? Like, this is gonna be fairly stateless as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're doing too much with it, right? It's just upload a raw. It's like a single main endpoint, right? It's just like you upload it, and then behind the scenes you're processing it, and then they download it, right?
Yeah. So the application front end is probably going to be doing a bunch of I/O. So I think I want to have some kind of like boundary there, and we'll have like an implementation for that. Some kind of abstraction here for like the presentation layer. I'll flesh that out a bit more later, I think. And maybe we'll add some arrow that says like this implements that presentation layer, sort of. So say it's like the Rocket app, Rocket API that we expose. Yeah, maybe something like that. Change the arrowhead to something more UML-like, I guess. Do you use UML at work? I don't tend to use UML, but
We don't really do much like UML design, like diagrams or anything like that.
yeah, it's kind of my experience as well. I'm just gonna do something. Oh, go on.
Team is relatively small and it's more fairly independent. So like we haven't encountered a huge project where we need to use like UML, I believe. Like I think there are good use cases if you're designing like a huge system or you're working on a huge project. I feel like for most small enough projects, fine without UML.
Yeah. I think it's a little overkill sometimes. Oops. What am I doing? I'm just doing something kind of UML-ish, but not really. Rust doesn't do like object-oriented programming very well. Well, I mean, there are some object-oriented features in the language, but like, generally you're not gonna write your code in a very object-oriented way, so it doesn't really work. But you can still at least like mark out your abstraction boundaries, right? Whether or not you use like a trait or you use like a regular old lambda function or closure rather, like that kind of stuff does matter.
When you mean presentation layer, are you referring to just like the GUI or like the web page?
Yeah, like just the GUI. I don't really know exactly how that's going to work out. I'm probably going to be adjusting this diagram later. So that's just my idea right now. I think like, yeah, actually, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Cause like I'm going to be exposing a bunch of like different endpoints. Or at least like probably just one at first. And yeah, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna like abstract over that exactly. I don't know. I'll put some more thought into that. Maybe this doesn't make much sense right now, but when I actually do the prototyping, I think it'll start to make more sense.
And so far, this me logically makes sense so far. The presentation layer uses the API, and I'm assuming the API utilizes the randomizer somehow. The graph you said is what you're using the library to validate or randomizer to confirm it's like readable.
Yeah, that's the graph is used to make sure that the game is beatable. So I'm gonna be putting pet graph behind this interface because in case there's like a better graph library or I decide to write my own implementation, then it'd be nice to have that flexibility, I think. The randomizer itself should probably actually have its own it should probably have different selectable algorithms that you can use, because it might not just be an entrance randomizer forever, or there might be different kinds of entrance randomizers. So we'll have like a randomizer algorithm layer here, and that can be implemented by a whole bunch of different things. Like we could have like an entrance randomizer, like standard entrance randomizer, I guess. Ooh, this is kind of small. There we go. We can do that. We could have like a all one ways entrance randomizer, that sort of thing. We could have like a whole bunch of different implementations, for example, like this, and those will all be implementations of that interface. I think this makes sense. Just being able to switch between different implementations of the randomizer algorithm, depending on the game settings that are provided. So let me just change the arrowhead to our implements one that we've been using.
It's been a while since I read like UML diagrams, but so if I'm understanding this right, just like the standard entrance and the all one ways entrance are just different randomizer algorithms.
Yeah, they're just different algorithms. There are different implementations of this.
Gotcha.
So that way I can swap it out depending on what the user has provided in their settings. So we're gonna have to have something about config as well. Just add the last arrow here. So the randomizer needs to know what kind of algorithm is being used. This actually doesn't have to be a trait in Rust. This could just be a function that we pass in, like a sort of like a function pointer to a different algorithm. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see when we actually do this. I might still make it a trait. I'm just, you know, I just want to mark what the functional interfaces are, and not necessarily caring what actual abstraction I use. So should probably have something for configuration. Ah. Now the question is, do I want to hide the configuration behind any kind of abstraction boundaries, or do I think it's fine as it is? It's just like a plain old struct or something. I think I'll leave it just as a plain old struct for now. I think that makes some sense. Until I find I need to change the config in some way. I don't know. The configuration needs to be loaded from somewhere though, so we need to have some kind of config loader. So let's do that. And since the configuration loader would have to do some kind of I/O, I imagine. Oh yeah. How's that gonna work? Because the configuration is gonna come from like the UI. Yeah. Okay. We'll have a config loader or something, some kind of interface like that. And I don't know what will implement that, but I do know that we want this to be referenced by our randomizer. It's gonna need to use this, I guess. Does this make sense?
So
I don't wonder.
I feel like config in the config loader might be a bit the same thing. You could just probably get rid of the.
I could probably get rid of the config.
Because config loader says what it does, and then that's being passed into the randomizer algorithm, I'm assuming, right?
Probably.
That's what I assume. Like, just from my understanding, like the user goes uploads their file, they select several options from the UI, like some of those like standard entrance or all one ways, etc., etc. And then they click upload or process, which gets passed to the API, which calls your Rust module or however you're doing this.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret it.
I'm just trying to think. Of like Well, this Rocket API is kind of like our main entry point into the application.
Yeah.
So maybe this can have a reference to the config loader. It gets the config.
Passes it to the randomizer or something like that.
Yeah, and then it passes that to the randomizer. So I think we should have some arrows like this. Yeah, and then I get rid of that. I think that makes sense. Like we get data from the config loader, so this should. I'll just make this a bidirectional arrow.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I guess it's a separate arrow. Yeah, I'll just be bidirectional. It goes there, comes back. Then we pass that data onto the randomizer, and then the randomizer will go to the algorithm to figure out what randomizer to use, and graph to decide if the game is beatable, and then it'll ideally return the data, like the randomized options, back to the Rocket API. So I think that should be bidirectional as well. I think that makes sense so far. We actually need to write to the ROM. So I'm gonna add a layer for that. ROM writer. Because we have to write the bytes to the specific memory addresses that we want to overwrite in the ROM. So we'll have an interface for that. And we'll just have like, I mean, I don't even need to really state this, honestly. I think it's kind of unnecessary to go that far. So we'll just have a ROM writer. The ROM writer will write to the different locations in memory, or like not memory, but in the ROM, and then it'll pass the ROM back, the updated ROM. So I think I want to make this bidirectional again. I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure about this presentation layer thing. Really not sure about this. I'll look into that a bit more in the future and see if that makes sense. But I think for now this kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, well, I think that's where I want to leave it for today's stream. Thank you for joining me today. If you want to stick around, we can just chat for a bit. I kind of want to know what you're up to. But,
Sure, I'm down.
yeah, I'm gonna end stream now, so, if anyone's been watching, or anyone is watching from the future, yeah, take care. Have a nice day, and I'll see you when I see you.